Hey y'all, what is up? I'm Ethan Pox, and I wanted to just do a quick little video on the RuneScape leagues. So I don't think I've seen anybody actually do a video like this. Now, I don't watch a lot of RuneScape 3 content, so it's very possible that RuneScape 3 content creators have, which I used to make RuneScape 3 content when I played the game, but I just don't play that anymore. I play old school, so I wanted to kind of make this video just because I thought it would be interesting to talk about. So the first thing is, will RuneScape 3 leagues be any good? And I think this is obviously, it's very subjective to the person. But yeah, it probably will be good. It's a leagues. It's just a fun game mode that doesn't matter and doesn't translate over to anything meaningful other than, cosmetics, which of course, RuneScape 3 players have found a way, or old school RuneScape players, sorry, have found a way to use cosmetics to pay less money for death fees. So I guess arguably those could be meaningful. They weren't really up until not Yama, but the Delve boss. But yeah, I think they could probably be meaningful. Then, RuneScape 3, they have a whole different system. I don't honestly know whether or not, I can't remember whether cosmetics actually cost you money to reclaim or not. I don't remember. I think they still do, I want to say, but I'm not sure. But will it be good? Arguably, probably yes. It's a leagues. We're not talking about adding new content that's game breaking or anything like that. We're talking about a limited time game mode that's literally just meant to be fun. Now, will the old school players think that it was good compared to an old school RuneScape leagues? Probably no, because they don't like RuneScape 3's mechanics. But will it be good in general? Probably yes. That's probably easy. So what I'm gonna do is I just wanted to break it down into a liked versus disliked, and I'm going to be using a pencil because it's easier than. Why can't I not? Oh, I need to select all. Hold on, I'm sorry. No, still can't do it. Oh, there we go. So I'm just gonna be using a pencil. Will it look all nice and clean? No. But I'm going to do it anyway. Because I can't be bothered to type in every single thing. So let's get the big one out of the way. Now this is for... I should put somewhere. OSRS players. Okay? We're talking about OSRS players. I lied, I'm not going to use a pencil. I probably will just type it because it looks a lot cleaner. So will old school RuneScape players like versus dislike? These are just my predictions. I don't know. I haven't worked on the leagues. I haven't played the leagues, obviously. It comes out tomorrow, but this is what I think. So let's get the big one out of the way. Combat mechanics. The big shift, Are old school players going to like the combat mechanics? Probably not. Probably not. And then I'm gonna throw this one out there preemptively. The relic choices. Having looked through them, I don't think there's anything crazy. Anything groundbreaking, sorry. I don't think it's going to be anything that's, super new. Also, a lot of them are really just the last leagues. Basically almost all of them are just the last leagues that old school RuneScape had. So up until you have stuff that's like actual, necromancy and the god books and stuff like that, and relating to like archaeology, like stuff that we don't have. That's the only thing they added. They didn't really add anything new. They didn't take anything, say like, hey, we do this better. Let's do this. So yeah, I don't think that they really tried to go all that crazy. And that's really unfortunate because there's a lot of content that RuneScape 3 and old school RuneScape players share that I think they could have really really done more with to please their old school players. Now, obviously, is the goal to please old school players? Yes, I think so. I honestly think yes, because yeah, they are literally trying to get old school players to come back to RuneScape 3 because RuneScape 3 is dying. Let's not sugarcoat it. RuneScape 3 is not in a good place and hasn't been for a long time. So I don't think they're going to like the combat mechanics, the relic choices. Now here's something I do think that they're going to like. RuneScape 3 has a way better UI when it comes to menus and stuff. And that is just a little bit due to the fact that RuneScape 3 has updated UI. And one constant thing that old school players complain about is actually like navigating menus and stuff. They don't like the way that it works in old school. They don't like it. But they also are refuse to admit that RuneScape 3 might have better UI. Now, sometimes the UI can be a little clunky. Sometimes it's not like clunky, it's bloated. Sometimes the UI has way too much fucking information. But you can actually turn a lot of it off. If you don't like stuff, you turn it off. Which you cannot do in old school. Excuse me. Cannot do in old school unless you are on the RuneLite client. The RuneLite client allows us to do things that RuneScape 3 lets us naturally do. So that is an actual thing. Like I think RuneLite integrated. We're gonna say that RuneLite integrated mechanics. I honestly think that RuneScape players will like that the actual game is basically a RuneLite. Yeah, old school players don't do quests without the quest helper. They just don't. They often do not. And sometimes RuneScape 3 quests get really, really fucking convoluted. Just really convoluted. Just really, you're like, I don't know who that person is. I've never met that person. And you go look it up and you're like, oh. Someone like 6 years ago told me about this person. And they were never mentioned again until now. So yeah, I think that that's going to be, you know, kind of crazy. Now, obviously, rewards. Most RS players don't play RuneScape 3. No way to use these. There will be literally no way for old school players to use the rewards that you get from these leagues. They just won't, because they don't play RuneScape 3. Now that is more to the players. But yeah, I don't even know if there's been any rewards, which is crazy because oh no, there has. There's a cosmetic hatchet, pickaxe, harpoon, catalyst, a new cosmetic aura, a pet, and new teleport and ability cosmetic override. So yeah, basically the basic stuff for as far as that goes, except for the pet. We don't get pets in old school. RuneScape 3 has a crazy pet system, which I think old school players will like. Here's another one that I think is going to be crazy. Max cash amount. Because this is something that old school players think about a lot, because we're limited. We're limited. Now let me tell you, RuneScape 3, quintillion. You can have quintillions of coins before you hit the max cash. And do you know what happens after you hit the max cash? If you have max cash in your cash pouch, it'll start going into your inventory. So you can get more. You can go over the max cash because there's a coin pouch. I think I didn't really do this one where I like it. I'm just going to ignore that one. The, what do they even call it? Pouches for coins and, tools. I think old school players might like this. This is a very potential. Now, a lot of them kind of know about it, but I don't think that they've actually used it or, like, you know. I just think that they're going to enjoy it, personally. Lodestones. Lodestones feel very not RuneScape. They feel very not old school. And I don't think that, I don't think that they're going to enjoy them, I'm going to be honest. Even though they're fine, I don't think they'll enjoy them. Now, here's what I will put under here. What are they actually called? Oh, enrage bosses. So, I really think that they will enjoy that. I also think that they're going to enjoy story progression. Now this one's kind of weird because old school is kind of on a different progression route, but here's the thing. When we get a quest where it's tying up a story, old school players love that. They do really enjoy it. We're finally getting to tie up the vampire. We're finally going to get to tie up the vampire quest line. This year, next year. Sorry, next year we get to tie up the vampire quest line, and old school players are super excited for it. RuneScape 3 has finished the main story and started the second story. The entire first main storyline, it's done. So, I think that RuneScape 3 players are really going to enjoy this. Now, the basic stuff, really the things that I think they're going to dislike is honestly the things that drove them away in the first place, which is just the game being made very easy, very accessible. You don't have to grind for stuff. You don't have to work for stuff a lot. RuneScape 3 is very AFK. And old school is not as AFK. Now, we've gotten a lot more AFK stuff in the years, but one thing that makes it drastically different is that the AFK in RuneScape 3 can be just as effective, or just as efficient as in old school. Old school players, one thing that drives them, one thing that makes them just go absolutely nuts, and it's not everybody, but it is, when you go to change it, it becomes nearly damn everybody, is if you're not putting in extra effort for efficiency, they don't think that that should work like that. So, RuneScape 3 has specific bosses that drop rewards that increase your AFKing efficiency and make it better. Also, there's mining, which, like, honestly, the most thing that mining has in RuneScape 3 is you click the rock when your energy gets a little low. So, yeah, that's, you know, I think that I don't think that they're gonna enjoy that so much. Just like AFK as efficient as playing. But I will put skilling reworks, like smithing and fletching. I think that they'll actually enjoy this. So really, you know, honestly, I'm kind of surprised, but I ended up thinking about a lot more things I think to like than dislike. Obviously, it's hard to say, especially with like the big streamers and stuff. They have a very set way that they think about the game, and it's mostly from having played the game for a long period of time. I'm trying to put this somewhere. But yeah, so this is just my opinion. I don't necessarily know, but these are the things that I, as a person who has played both games and enjoyed both games, think. So the biggest difference between Old School and RuneScape 3 is, honestly, I would not say it's the mechanics or anything like that. The biggest difference is that RuneScape 3, the mods, they have total control. They change whatever they like, however they like it, and if the community doesn't like the change, a lot of times they just keep it like that. They're like, listen, guys, this is it. This is how it is. Now, sometimes if RuneScape 3 players are like, guys, this just doesn't work, sometimes they're willing to change it. Sometimes. But not always. On the other hand, Old School RuneScape thrives entirely off of people bitching. Which is kind of why we have things like the big sailing decriers who are losing their minds over the skill that they didn't want. Because the game is literally built around, if you bitch enough, it'll get changed. So, that is one thing that will be very interesting to see, is how do Old School players who haven't actually played RuneScape 3 before, how do they approach the game? How do they like it? How do they see, hey, okay, so this is what happens if the JMods have total control. And I think, genuinely, at the end of it, I would be willing to say we probably end up having a little bit more JMod control in Old School. Not total control. And definitely not, us not being able to say, hey guys, this sucks. And they say, well, that's just how it is. Which we are kind of seeing now, a little bit. Old School RuneScape, they have been a little bit with sailing and with like combat achievements and stuff. They've been like, we're not changing it. Stop complaining. Because when they're not able to do any of the things that they like, or able to do any things that they think are good ideas without, just bitching and whining and crying being the follow-up, then they're not going to put their hearts into it, which I think is fine. But also, a lot of the players who are out there decrying things, they're doing it because they want the game to be good. And so Old School has a very weird balance of, we need X amount of bitching and we need X amount of JMod control, because RuneScape 3 definitely has a vast majority of JMod control. Players bitch. Don't get me wrong. The players who play it bitch. It's just that the JMods don't care. They will tune you out. They do not care. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But Old School being the game that it is, Old School being literally alive because of the bitchers and the whiners and the people who said, hey, combat mechanics suck. You guys took a good combat system and turned it into WoW. And I didn't want to play WoW, so why the fuck would you do that? Is the reason that Old School is alive today. So, I think genuinely we will see more JMod control, with players being able to say, guys, this sucks. Guys, you put this out, you didn't pull it, that's fine. We're fine that you didn't pull it, but we need to change something because it's not good. Which I think is fine. So, once again, these are all just my opinions. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not going to be playing the RuneScape 3 leagues because I've tried to go back to playing RuneScape 3 just for fun, and I just don't find the game fun anymore. Which is just, it's my own personal opinion on the game, and that's fine. I genuinely hope that the people who try the RuneScape 3 League from Old School have a good time, because RuneScape 3 can be incredibly fun. it can be as fun as old school, but having the MTX like shoved down your throat, definitely big thing that's bad. And the great thing about leagues is we're all Ironmen, so MTX just doesn't fucking exist. And then sometimes the way that the JMods approach things is just not, it makes the game unfun. And having little to no control, or having, you know, no way to express that is it's kind of ass. So that's my take. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. This is yeah, just a really basic video, but hope you guys like it.